Now we have some more breaking news coming in within the story, wherein the top government sources have said that the NSA Doval and his counterpart always discussed issues of both countries, especially terrorism, from both the countries many a times. Now, NSA Doval very clearly and categorically has told his counterpart about the troublemakers and terrorists sitting in Canada. Doval also shared the intelligence and intercepts time to time, including locations of such people. On the other hand, his counterpart also raised issues of the Indian involvement, on which Doval very clearly asked him for the evidence and the FIRs. Now, Canadian NSA always promised but never came back with any evidence on the claims and blames, and India is ready to investigate this matter deeply if credible inputs are given. So, this is the particular information we are getting right now, and we have Abhishek Jha joining us on the broadcast. Abhishek, a very good morning to you. Well, to begin the discussion, my first question to you is regarding the Canadian NSA not responding when it comes to evidences and like credible evidences for a country, especially whose Prime Minister has constantly been speaking about such serious and grave allegations. There seems to be no evidence that has still come forward. And he has in fact dodged that question yesterday at the press conference he did as well.
When Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been saying that they want to go, to the bottom of this investigation and they want the cooperation from India, then of course they have to provide some substantive evidences on the basis of which he has been leveling such massive and explosive charges against India and Indian agencies. So far, what we have learned, there has not been any piece of evidence or any investigation, process that has been shared with India on the issue of Niger. Also, Canadian authorities have been reluctant in acting against the terrorists or the extremist elements of Khalistani sympathizer group. In the past also, wherever India has raised the issue, India has named them. We know that not only this is not the first time that India has handed over Canada a lot of a list of names of people who have been involved in anti-India activities in India. Back in 2018, also when Justin Trudeau was in India and he was in Amritsar meeting then Chief Minister of Punjab, he was handed over name of about 18 people who have been actively involved in anti-India activity, who have been involved in secessionist activities against India as part of Khalistani movement. And so far, there has been not any action that has been taken by the Canadian authority. In the recent past, also, when India has raised the issue of security concerns of Indian community, Indian diplomats, we have seen so many social media posts and so many referendums happening by the Khalistani people or the sympathizer of the Khalistani movement. And then there has not been any arrest, any legal process that has been taken against those culprits or those goons. So clearly, Canada Prime Minister has been alleging the charges he has put against India, but he has not been able to come out in public with some credible evidence that he has been talking about. And this is where the problem is, because if he says the investigation should go on and we should go to the bottom of the investigation, he has to share those evidences with India first. Probably then he can proceed and he can, say that there are charges and there are the suspicions that Indian agents were involved. He has not been doing that. He has been just making rhetorical claims in the parliament saying that Indian agencies were involved in the killing of Nijar.
Right, Abhishek. Abhishek, do stay with us. Right now, we will take a deeper dive for our audience as to the missteps that have been taken by Prime Minister Trudeau. And what we have here is a discussion regarding what exactly were the missteps taken by the Prime Minister himself. So this is a diplomatic face-off that is being going on. Now, the first misstep was that Trudeau, given all due protocols in India, this is information that we are getting from our top government sources. The second one, he's in a tight spot due to domestic factors. This is another point that we're constantly focusing on as to why this has suddenly come up in such a light, where he's constantly accusing India without any evidence. Now, toward K narrative of being insulted insulted in India. This is the third point that we have here when we speak of the diplomatic face-off. And he's been offered best services by India, but Canadians refuse. This is the kind of situation we are relating it to the situation he's facing back at home. Now, projected as a failed leader on return home. This is with regards to the G20 meeting where the Canadian Prime Minister had come to India, and once he returned, he was being projected as a failed leader. Remember, he was stuck in India for an extra day because of some issue. There was a technical snag in the particular airplane that he was availing. But right now, we again have Abhishek back with us in the conversation. Abhishek, one question that comes to the fore is the fact that Trudeau might be might be in a tough spot under pressure back at home. But if that is the case indeed, isn't that making a mockery of himself on a global platform, bringing such issues to the fore without credible evidences, also without taking any action on all the information that is being put across to their side by the Indian government as well?
One has to really think about the kind of consultants or counselors Justin Trudeau is having, especially on the relation of India-Canada bilateral ties, because we know that the ties, the governments will come and go, the leaders will come and go, their politics will come and go, but the ties that India and Canada have developed over the last several decades is very strong and very people-oriented. A lot of Indian diaspora's presence is in Canada, and they are not there just a liability or like other immigration population which has created some social turbulence in other countries. But the Indian diaspora in Canada, they have been really contributing them the Canadian society socially, economically, politically. There are students from India, a massive number of students who go to Canada and they contribute in the income of colleges in the Canada. So there is a lot of interdependence between the two sides, which has kind of strengthened the bilateral relationship. And for a very small political leverage that Justin Trudeau is trying to create or foment that anti-India sentiment or trying to shelter and protect those anti-India groups in Canada for his political gains, the political compulsion domestically. That is something that has impacted India-Canada bilateral ties for wrong reasons. And what Justin Trudeau government has recently done, he has tried to level charges against India without having any substantiative documents, without having any evidences, what kind of evidences he is talking about, what kind of intelligence he has been sharing about. There has been no talk on that. Our diplomats have also told us that whatever intelligence he has apparently shared with the Five Eyes countries, there has, and if those countries have been in touch with India, they have never talked about any evidences that has been supplied to India, that has been given to India. So, on what basis India can actually assess the situation or the allegation that the Trudeau government is making? It is just an allegation into the air with no, no standing on the ground, and probably that is one of the reasons why Indian action or the reciprocation against India diplomatically has been very, very fast and very aggressive. India has stopped visa application processing in Canada for the Canadian citizen because of security threats that has emanated in the wake of Justin Trudeau's government's allegations. Also, there has been travel advisory for Indian students and Indians who wish to travel to Canada because of the security threats. Again, that has come in the last 72 hours or so. Also, India has asked Canada to readjust the diplomatic presence in Canada. Remember, there is a lot of diplomatic disparity between India and Canada because the number of diplomats that India has deployed in Canada in various missions and the number of Canadian diplomats in India are there is a proportion, there is a difference in that, and there is a higher number of Canadian diplomats present in India. Now India has asked for parity of strength and rank. The same number that Indian diplomats have been deputed in Canada should be the number of Canadian diplomats in India, and this kind of tells the strictness with which India has come out in the face of those allegations, those image attack that has happened on India because of the Justin Trudeau's statement in the Parliament.